So now what we want to do is animate Morpheus doing a jump. And what I think we'll do is we'll have Morpheus jump from one object to another. So I am going to, well, the first thing I'm going to do is relax Morpheus, but we've more or less done that in the if you watch the introduction to Morpheus tutorial, you'll see that we've relaxed him and made him look a little less stiff than he did at the that he did when you first import the rig. So what we want to do here is make sure we've got a project set. So let's go to project window. If you haven't got a Morpheus jump project, go ahead and create one there by clicking on new and then accept. And then once you've done that, go ahead and set to your project. So set to Morpheus jump. And then the next thing we want to do is let's create a couple of large cubes, polygon primitive cubes. And let's scale them up, scale these cubes up. And I'm just going to move that just below Morpheus's feet. And then I'm going to scale them. And then move it down a bit. So, and let's make it look a bit more like a wall. Okay, so Morpheus is going to jump from one wall to another. And then having done this, having made this cube, I'm now going to name it in the outliner. And I'm going to, instead of P cube 1, I'm going to call that wall 1. And then I'm going to go Control D. Control D. And what that will do is duplicate the wall, and it will automatically now name it for us wall 2. And now we're going to animate Morpheus jumping from one wall to another. He's going to make a death-defying jump. And then the next thing we're going to do, having done that, is let's go to our animation setup. So if I go to Panels, Layout, 3 panes, Split Top, what I want is up here, I want my perspective view. Here I want, we'll keep that perspective for now. And then down there, we want the graph editor. And if you haven't already, go ahead and save that as an animation multi-view. And you can go here under Window, go to Save Current Layout. If you click on that and call that Animation, that will save it as your animation layout, because this is basically the animation setup. Now, if I hit spacebar in this window, we can customize this a bit further. If I hit 6 on my keyboard, we go to Textured Mode. And if I go to Show None, then we can just turn on Polygons and NURBS curves. And, oh, that's very peculiar. What's happening there? Show NURBS surfaces. Show, let's try going to Show All. Okay, something very nasty has happened to Morpheus's arm. So I'm just going to hit the Z key until I go back to, okay, so it looks like when I moved the box, I somehow or other moved Morpheus's arm with it. How very strange. Okay, so I'll do that again. This does happen. This is why the undo button is so incredibly useful. Control D, move that over that way. If I shift select them both and then scale them out, we should now get a wall. 2 walls. Okay, let me just go back to the outliner. P cube 1, wall 1. Double click on P cube 2, call that wall 2, and we're good. You always want to make sure that you name everything properly. Now this is actually Morpheus up here, and this is Morpheus 2. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to Control select all of these elements and go Control G to group them all together into one group. And I'm going to call that Morpheus. I don't know why that should have gone. For some reason I can't move that into Morpheus. I'm not sure why. Well, we'll leave that there for now. So so now we're going to animate Morpheus jumping from one side of this wall to another. And what we want to do really is to set up a camera. So let's take a camera view that feels good. Let's actually go ahead and create a camera, create camera's camera. Now that we've selected a camera, we're actually going to need to turn cameras on. Okay, they are actually turned on. Cameras there. And let's go to panels, look through selected. Sorry, we need to have our camera selected there. Go to the outliner, select the camera, call it shot camera. You should already be familiar with this process because it's outlined in a video earlier in the course. So making sure that camera is selected, we go panels, look through selected, and now zoom out. And I'm holding down Shift and middle mouse. And now we are looking at Morpheus through the shot camera. And I'm going to now lock that camera off. So I'm going to drag select these values here, right click, lock selected. And now we are ready to have Morpheus take a death-defying leap. And now if we hit spacebar again, we should have the camera view up there. We can turn on the film gate there if you want to. And there's our perspective view where we can dolly and zoom and look around. And here's our timeline, our graph editor here. Now that we've got everything set up, we should go ahead and take a look at the thumbnails. So the thumbnails are attached with this shot. And these are the jump thumbnails which I've done for you, and I've done these thumbnails already, and I've also timed them out, so you can see we've got some rough timing for this jump here. Now bear in mind that at some point in the course, and it's not that far away, you're going to have to learn how to do your own thumbnails. But for now, I'm going to give you the thumbnails and the timing. But later on, you'll have to start figuring this stuff out for yourself. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to block the shot out using these thumbnails. I'm probably just going to animate it straight ahead so that we can just go through all of these poses. So you should also print this out so that you have these thumbnails on the desk in front of you, because if you only keep this a digital file on the screen, you'll find that you cannot look at your thumbnails and the animation at the same time. It's a very good idea to have these thumbnails in front of you. So we know that looking at this, that our animation is going to be roughly 37 frames long. So I'm going to type 37 here in the timeline and extend that up there. So now we know we've got a 37 frame shot. 1, 2, 37. Having done that, I'm going to go and hit the space bar here. I'm going to make sure I turn select surface objects off because we don't want to select any geometry by mistake. I'm also going to actually now we have to go into the window to select the geometry, but I'm going to select the wall, shift select the second wall, create a layer, create empty layer there, double click on layer 1 and call that walls, save, and now right click here, add selected objects. And now we can turn the visibility off here with this V key. But you should know about all this already. There's a if you need brushing up on it, there's a video about the layer editor earlier in the course. So now that we've got that done, we can go ahead, turn off the geometry, and now we can select all of Morpheus's curves. Actually, sometimes drag selecting curves doesn't work very well, so I think what we'll do is we'll just select his curves in turn and hit S at frame 1. So I'm selecting all his major controls and keyframing each one of them in turn so that we've got keyframes set at frame 1. And I'm going to go and turn this geometry back on, and now I'm basically ready to start animating. I'm going to make sure I follow these thumbnails pretty carefully so that to see how it works, because you always want to follow the thumbnails, get a first rough pass done, and then later on come back in and start tweaking it. So I'm pretty happy with what we've got set up there. I'm now going to go ahead and start to animate. And we'll do that in the next video. But before we do that, we always save our shot. So I'm going to call that Morpheus Jump version 4. I've already saved a few versions of this from when I was doing the technical videos. You would probably start at this stage with version 1. So save, and in the next video we'll start blocking it out.